Hi, Arka'n.
In spite of all my bodies burning in the ground, centuries are screaming through darkness. Here I am, you can't deny. No word now you're done, 'cause I'm
We're very happy to have you.
Thank you.
Hello, Beth. This is Jules from Black Amber, and here we are with the band from Togo, Midwest Africa, Arka'n Asrafokor. And, that's it,
With the accent, that was nice.
right?
You said it very well with the accent. I loved it.
Like in Spanish, I say Arka'n Asrafokor.
Yes.
Okay, so I should help me pronounce it because I know it's A-R-K apostrophe. That means something.
Yes.
A-N,
It's Arka'n.
right?
Yes.
I would say Arka'n, but I don't know. How would you say it?
No, it's just Arka'n. Yes.
Arka'n Asrafokor. Asrafokor, is that better?
Yes. Yes. It's better.
We're talking
Same
with,
thing is lovely too.
we're speaking with The Rock, who is the singer and guitarist, and even though the project encompasses a number of people, he is the mind and the creator behind it. So we're speaking with him and with Beatrice, who is their graceful manager. We're more than happy to have them, and especially because, not to take the thunder away from Arka'n, the fact that Beatrice is from the Caribbean as well. So it's even more of a treat. She is Haitian. So
We're building bridges.
that was, yes, absolutely. That was more, I was like, yeah, Arka'n, cool, I'm all for it. I love the music. I love what they're doing. I've been watching them a bit. And then I find out that Beatrice is Haitian, and I'm like, okay, girl, what are you doing in Togo? But first of all, is the fact that there's a network, that this is the Metal on the South. So welcome. Thank you for having me
Thank you.
today to do this interview. And I'm going to jump right in, Rock. And please bear with me because it's not just about music. I really want to know what it's like growing up in Togo for you.
Actually, well, growing in Togo is like growing elsewhere in this world. It can be in Ghana, it can be in Benin, it can be in India and stuff. We are all human, so we grow the same way and stuff. But when we talk about music and culture, Togo is not really, it's not at all a rock, metal, cultural country. But you can find pop music and traditional music and all. But me, I used to listen to rock and roll when I was young.
How did
I
that
was
happen?
kids.
You already
Uh, be-
established that there's no really, and let me tell you something. I was in Rwanda for like 2 weeks,
Mhm.
and there was no rock. They didn't even know what I meant, and this is Central Africa,
Wow.
so I am making a parallel. I'm like looking for rock because before, like 15 years before, I was in India and I was so immersed in Bollywood that I didn't even care about metal. At the time, I was like, yeah, Bollywood, When I got back to my country, I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even look for that. And this is a band I found out in 2000, so 2006. So I didn't want the same thing to happen to me in Africa. So when I got to Rwanda, I'm like, so yeah, let's buy music. Do you have rock? And they're like, rap. And I'm like, yeah. Oh. Like, no, it's rock. And they're like, rap. I'm like, never mind.
Actually, in the past, there was rock, blues, and jazz culture in Togo because Togo was a very open country culturally. So people came from abroad and come to visit, and people come from Togo to go to visit other country, go to Europe and USA stuff. So there's a kind of exchange between the cultures. So even in the years 80s, we have some rock bands in Togo that past. There are many rock bands in the past in Togo.
Okay.
So you can find cassettes, audio cassettes in the market. You can find AC/DC, Scorpions, Metallica, and stuff. But not today. But in the past, yes, you can find this kind of things.
Why not today? Shouldn't it be the way around? Like easier now,
Yes.
harder before?
Well, because now those who used to play rock and stuff, they all travel to Europe, States and stuff. So, and there are no promotion for rock music in Togo. They only promote pop and Afro gospel things. So, but there's no rock promotion. So if you are an artist here in Togo, you play rock, you must promote everything by yourself. That's what we are doing.
Togo music industry support in the Togo market.
Yes. Well, the industry which is here supports only pop music and gospel pop music, but
So
not.
you are a rebel. You're a rebel and you're like, no, I'm doing this power chord thing, you know. When did you start deciding like metal was your voice?
Actually, I began to first like a guitarist playing in clubs, in nightclubs and stuff, live clubs, and we used to play everything. We used to play reggae, suppose, African music and stuff.
You can
We
say
play everything. Yes, everything. We play everything. So because we are in the band where the singer who sings everything, singing American songs, singing African songs, singing Jamaican, so we used to play everything. But like in years 2008, 9, I felt that kind of spell to create my own path in rock music. So I began to compose and to arrange my own songs. You see, so like yes, so I began rock projects in years like 2007, 8, 9. You know.
so from the get-go, you were into music. Like you decided that professionally this is what you wanted to do.
Yes, really.
And then you decided to kill your career by picking metal. Where there was no market for metal.
Yes, really.
That's a rebel.
But no, actually,
You're crazy.
when I
You're
began
so much of a visionary.
when I began to create my own project, rock projects, I told myself that rock, Togo is not the whole world because the world is big. So you can begin a project here in Togo, and you can go to perform all over the world. You can perform in New York, perform Morocco, perform
So you had a plan.
Tokyo. Yes, the plan is to make the bands and to go to perform. So, and the thing is, I used to write about other band stories, so how their career, how they compose and they go to record, they go on tour, they come back home, they compose again. So for me, this is the music. You make a band, you compose music and go on tour. So it's not like you play only for your country. You see.
So, which bands were you taking your knowledge from? Which bands were you studying to figure out how it was done? And didn't you feel kind of lonely?
Uh,
What did
in
people around
Togo,
you say? Come on.
actually, I was lonely at first because I was the only one around doing that kind of music. Actually, there are guitarists, musicians playing rock, but there are only few of them, and they don't want to make a band really. They just want to entertain themselves playing rock.
Okay.
But I began to really to call people. Okay, come listen to this. What you think? We can begin this and stuff. So, but so friends come, they listen, and they begin something. But because it's too different from what they used to play, okay, they leave. Other people come, they listen to they play together, and one day those who come stay, and we began the first really Arka'n band.
So, how did you get together with like-minded people?
Yeah,
Crazy
what?
enough to go into your project. How did you come
Yes,
across them?
yes. Because thing is, I just call them because actually you don't know in advance who like what, who will be with you if you don't call them to come to join and try. So it's after a lot of trials that I found those who stayed with me for the first Arka'n lineup.
And right now, you are the only one composing, or the other members are participating in the composition process, in the creative process of the band?
Yes, actually, I'm the one who like line out all the songs. Like I bring all the main ideas, the main drum, bass, guitar patterns and stuff, and they add what they can add. Like the percussion add his part, the drummer can add something else, and the rap singer can grow or rap here and there, and that is the bass player can add his things.
Is the rap singer the latest addition to the band? And why did you have a rap singer? What did you decide to let's have one?
Because for Arkan, rap comes from Africa. Because we are an Afro metal band. Like we
Yeah,
play a kind
did you
of
just make
blend
that up?
of
Did
styling.
you just make that up? Afro metal.
Yes.
I love it because there's a band that, well, I don't know if I can just say it openly, but I guess Miraz. They have like blazing desert metal, something like that. They name their own
Ah,
genre, because
uh,
they do fusion with Arabic, overtones
okay,
of
maybe
music.
I think it's oh, I'm forgetting the name of this band. Orphan Land.
Orphan Land. They're from Israel. I want
Yes.
I want to talk to Kobe. That's the singer and creator and the mastermind behind Orphan Land. I wonder if they think that what they're still doing is metal because it sounds
Maybe.
every day more. It sounds more ethnic. Like it's so
Yes.
empowering. Like the sense of the ethnical music that they're using, and they're still considered metal. But I hear it. It's I wouldn't even call it progressive. It's more like an ethnic type of rock.
Yes.
But yeah, so you have Afro metal.
It's Afro metal, but we call it Asrafokor because Astrafo means warrior in our Ewe
Oh, that was
language.
my next question. Asrafokor. Atrafor? Atrafor.
Astrafo
Asrafo.
means
Oh my God, I love
yes.
Astrafo. Right.
It means warrior in our Ewe language. So Astrafo and core, which is core like green core, metal core, what core. So Asrafokor, you see.
And then what does Arkan mean?
Arkan here it means more. Arkan here relates to the fact that there's a word behind this word we see, and this and that word we don't see is bigger and more powerful than what we see. So Arkan is like we go in that word, we see what is there, and we come back to tell people here what we see, what we feel from that word.
You know,
So
that's
this
a
is the
lot of words
Arkan.
for a single to explain a single word.
Similar to it.
It's a lot of words for Arkan. What you tell? Like you have like an astral projection. You go to a subtle part of life, you gain wisdom and
No,
success. Is that what it means?
no, that's
So, no, I'm trying. You know, Ria, work with me here. The translator is kicking in. This is like the enlightened soldier, let's call it.
Well, the thing is that everything is wrapped up in just one word, Arkan. Arka'n Asrafokor. So Asrafokor is for the kind of music, and then Arkan signifies all that. So we wrap it up in just one word.
Now tell me again, because I want to understand the whole arcana. It sounds like a very involved concept.
Yeah, but that's why it is wrapped up in just one word, Arkan. So Rock explained Asrafokor for the music and the meaning, the music of the warriors, and then Arkan is really that the hidden side of even spirituality, but some things that we cannot be reached with the senses alone. That you have to go deeper, and you go, and as he says, these warriors just go get the message and bring it back on stage to the music and the performances. So it's difficult to say that in just one word, and so they just came up with he came up with Arkan.
But arcana exists. It's not a made up word. Arcan is actually a word in Iwi language.
Arkan is like a sentence in Ewe language, but the sentence that I cannot say here because it's too powerful. So I just say Arkan. So I cannot say all the words beginning by the letters of Arkan here. That is Arkan.
Well, I'm just gonna call it the music of the enlightened soldier.
Why not? It's cool.
Yeah, because I love the sense, and you are actually you're taking me to the Le Petit Prince. I'm looking for the sentence that says I haven't found it, but it's like l'essentiel c'est invisible pour les cieux.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
What matters is what the eyes cannot see. Something like that. What matters is what the eyes cannot see.
Exactly. So that when you both were explaining the arcan, that phrase was like being pulled in my head, in my mind, and I love it. So, do you actually go into a trance? It's a yes or no question. Don't shy away from it.
Actually, no, we don't go in trance like this. Like, okay, whoa, we don't trance, but I can say the trance is permanent. Like, you don't need to go in trance to feel the things because you can walk in the streets and feel the things. You can hear people talk and feel something. You can be just here sitting there now and feeling. So it's not like a trance and you go and come back. It's a permanent trance.
Well,
can chime in, I would say that when you see metal performances, you see how wild some bands can go, and it's very powerful. There's a lot of power in metal. Now combine the power of metal and the power of African tradition and spirituality, and really it is something to see. And if you ask anybody who has seen an Arka'n performance live, I would say this is a kind of trance, because the five of them are just wild on stage.
Yeah.
The performance of Arka'n is something, because you have the power of metal and the power of African warriorship. So it is impressive. So I would say, yes, there's a form of trance, but of course I'm on the outside. I look at them on stage, and that's what I can see. They are all the time, in our Arcanic mood.
Yeah,
From the
like
outside, yes,
the
definitely.
ecstasy of music. I've noticed that you use white markings on the skin when you're performing.
Mm.
Can you
Yes,
elaborate on?
those white markings are kind of sign of fa. Fa is the kind of I can put it like a divination African science. So the fa in Africa tells you what you are, what is your fate or your destiny. You see, so like each member of Arka'n be, be, belongs to something. Each member of Arka'n has a story, a history, a soul, and our universe. So what we are is the fa, and the fa is what we put on the skin. You see,
Wow.
everything.
Was there ever in your mind the idea of make metal that sounded like the metal that is usually, the metal that we're accustomed, like Western metal? Or
Yes,
that was never an option for you?
actually, metal. We play kind of all kind of metal. Actually, if you listen to which song, Lord Zion. Lord Zion is really a Western, pure Western metal music. It's more like a new metal that's more brutal than Lord Zion. And if you listen on the album, you can listen Prince of Fire, which is kind of chant rock thing. So we can play metal from the West, but also the blend. Actually, we play three kind of metal. We can play the pure Western metal. We can play a blending of Western metal pattern with African pattern, and we can also play an all new pattern, which is really a blending of all of that. Like you can listen to the drum itself is an African pattern with the percussion too and stuff. So we play all those kind of styles of metal.
Do you you're aware that what you're making is progressive metal, right? You can mix whatever you
We,
want, but you're actually making
we
it
are
progressive metal.
we are making Asrafokor.
I said
So we don't.
corrected. I said corrected. Oh wow.
So we don't
When
put
did you
ourselves in the
yeah.
bracket. Really, we play Asrafokor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
not
our
try to box
identity.
you in. I'm not gonna box you in. But progressive metal is basically the kind of metal that allows for all those thirds, other music, other styles, other genres to permeate metal. That's why I said it. But yes, you're absolutely right, because at the same time, it's nothing like anyone else has heard. It's still
Yeah, something like
metal,
this.
and you
Mm.
cannot take Africa out from it.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
do you have like formal studies in music? Like you talk about patterns, it means like you're investigating the African patterns. You're just familiar with it because you grew up there, or you study it more formally in order to be able to make that meld that into the music.
They're actually, because we are born here and we go to village all the time, so our ears are used to our own right rhythm. And in Africa, music is not something that you go to study because it's part of your blood, it's part of your DNA, it's part of your universe. So in Africa, music is not just go to perform. Music is related to the spirits, the nature, the life. Music is all we are. So we are this music. That's all.
That's actually beautiful. I mean, because we in this island, we're all having African descent. Everybody in the island, you know. So it's like you have people that go like more formally into the study of the rhythm, but that does not mean that the person, like the people, usually will be able to start dancing very young, maybe playing with a little tambora, a little drum, very young. So it's like when I visited it, I realized, especially in the food, that we were like, I'm like, yeah, this is the African part of my Dominicanity right here.
I see.
I can recognize it.
Exactly.
Right. I guess we can say it's just like language. You learn a language from when you're born, and then you can formally study it at university if you want to teach it, for example, or something. But to explain to somebody, I mean, the language is just you. Then it's when you study the language, you realize, oh, you have this pattern and then this, but then you just use it. It's just like dancing. It's just like, it's the art form. So yeah, I totally agree.
So, since you found yourself in such a deserted musical place because there was nobody else making metal around you and there was no platform to support your musical efforts, do you how have you contributed or have you tried to contribute to the alternative music by maybe making your own label or something, hailing up other bands? What has been your incident
Act-
or metal scene in Western Africa?
Actually, at first when I began that project, I haven't noticed that there were so many bands around. So I just began the project and we try to evolve and to see what or where this relates us to. But the more I go on internet, I see that hey, there's a real dance scene in Africa. When you go to the north of Africa and go to the south of Africa, there's a real metal scene there, and we begin to connect to each other. We write to each other, and we're making plans. So normally, I think that last year we should normally go to perform in kind of Austral Africa, I think, but we could not do that because of the plane ticket and stuff. But the thing is, African metal is alive and it's growing hard and heavy, and we are all part of this, and we make it grow. See?
Yes. So,
Yeah. Actually, Arka'n was supposed to be performing in Angola. Arka'n was also invited to Kenya. And yeah, in Southern Africa, there's a growing interest, and social media has helped a lot because through social media, it has enabled us to connect with other bands, other platforms that promote rock or metal music, and this is how there's now a stronghold of metal and rock at large made in Africa, and festivals going on, and Nigeria. I was forgetting Nigeria
Nigeria,
also.
yes, Nigeria.
There's a rock scene, and they wanted
And
to have
even
Arka'n
in Ghana too,
in
there's kind of
Ghana.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, how has you probably have already worked the platform a lot in order to be able to reach beyond your local borders. But how about the reception of outside of Africa for Arkan?
maybe I can reply to this because she's the one who did the whole job for that.
No, well, usually, I'm rather behind the scenes. Normally, I don't really do the interviews, but Arkan is the
We're
six
happy
of
to
us,
have
and
you.
I love being with the band, and it's a pity that the four others couldn't make it. They really apologize, but on behalf of all the others, I will also represent the band. I don't see myself really as a manager, but really as the little warrior behind the other warriors, because it's a super exciting project. So yes, when I chimed in, actually, Rock, who's the leader, who had this whole idea of Arka'n, he was already present on social media, and because I have a good feel for communication, I told him, listen, let's just work together and try to expand the network. And it happened gradually with Arka'n performances first locally. It's one of the bands that performs the most in Togo, honestly, with no means, but just some venues who love rock music, who like the project, who want to encourage,
You
who said, okay,
have good followers in Togo. Of
not many, but the followers are there. I mean, whenever those who like rock or metal music, whether it be local and local people or people from abroad, whenever they say, "Oh, Arka'n concert," they come. So there's a fan base, but of course it's not as big as it could be in other countries where metal music and rock music, people are more used to that. Okay, so we started expanding by performing in neighboring countries, and this is how more and more people, the media, started getting interested, more and more interviews, and then I think there was a turning point with the release of the album, because when the album came out, this is when platforms not only in Africa but other international.
exactly which album?
Don Kelly, the very first album.
Okay.
Well, the only album so far, and I won't disclose. I won't disclose the coming projects, but that album.
But that's not gonna fly with Black Amber.
Africa, I'm in town. Mama, let me do, mama, for Mama, let me do, mama, for Mama, let me do, mama,
Beginning of that of Tears of the Dead, you know that I could totally dance merengue to that. You know, every time. Yeah. Absolutely. I love to find like those similarities in music that is like all the way across from the other side of the world. You know, I love that. Yeah. Yeah, because it's a point where you can find a common ground, you know.
Exactly.
And metal done in that region or those countries in the world, they tend to have fusion.
Yes, really, exactly.
So you have to be willing to appreciate metal mixed with. However, Arkan makes it easy. Yeah, but the music composing is so fine because you
Oh,
feel,
really? Thank you.
yeah, you feel, I feel like the hardcore in it.
Yeah,
And
somehow, sometimes.
yeah, and then you feel like the swaying of the drums and the sway and the rhythm,
Mm,
it's there's
mm.
poetry there, man. There's poetry there. The music, you know what? You can just shut up. You don't even need to sing. The music
Yes.
speaks. The music you
Yeah.
make. The music Arka'n Asrafokor made. Made. Yeah. It's
I
very
totally agree.
yeah, it's very
Mm,
eloquent. I absolutely love it.
mm.
Um,
Because
It's dense. It's very dense.
because like we speak metal with our accents. Like if you speak English with African accent, we speak metal with African accents.
exactly.
It's
Wow.
it's same.
Exactly. Exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. And
Yes.
but you still sing, even if you don't have to sing. But you still sing, and you have a rapper. So let's let's address. I want to. Okay, let's not address the lyrics just now because I really, really, really want to hear like about local instruments, national instruments, things that are only found in Togo maybe or the region. Let's not make it so difficult. That you use in your compositions and in your songs. Let's talk about that a little.
Actually, in Arkansas songs, there are 3 or 4 main percussions. There are the drums like we call it tam tam tam. I don't know how it's called in English, but tam tam in French. So like African drums that are
Oh, I have
like
an
these drums.
African drum here. Hold on.
Actually,
You do?
Right here. Yeah. I don't know what to call. Maybe you can help me.
Maybe she has a djembe or conga or.
ah,
Ah.
somehow like this. Yes, this is somehow what we used to play in Arkan.
You have a drum
Ah,
here. Let's do
play
some.
it.
It has a stick. I don't know
Exactly.
what the stick is. I'm afraid my dog might have used it to play. This is from
Ah,
Rwanda.
you see.
I bought it in
Ah,
the Rwanda Museum. There's a lot of museums.
mm,
I went there for the museum, but
mm.
yeah, I don't know what to.
So we have that kind of drum too, and we also play a kind of shaker we call akaya in
Okay.
our every language akaya, but it's a shaker. And we also use a kind of bell, a kind of call bell, but we call it
Oh my
gatigo.
God! You use cowbelling metal?
African metal.
Really?
Because in our traditional
There's.
traditional
I'm
African
gonna
thing,
have to put my foot down there. There's a thing in
yes,
the
we
West.
call.
There's a thing in the West about no cow metal. Cow metal is a joke for Western metal.
No,
Every time, no,
because
for
actually,
Western metal, every time you say like more cowbell, everybody understands that you mean it as a joke. But you're actually
no,
using a cowbell, so tell me about the cowbell.
yeah, because I think it's the cowbell in the West doesn't have the same meaning as the cowbell here in Africa. Because the cowbell can call spirits, the cowbell can invoke spirits. Really, it's not like just to play it to joke, but really it's in our culture, in spirituality,
Wait.
cowbell calls spirits.
They
To
call
call spirits.
and
Yeah,
away.
to call.
The
To invoke
call
them.
spirits, the invoke spirit, like yes, the conjure spirit. So like in voodoo celebration, in voodoo ceremonies, the cowbells are used to call or to communicate with spirits. So in Arkan music, it's really important to use those kind of instruments to be one with the spirits around us.
What other but okay, that's the cowbell, and you've been very specific about how the cowbell is used in the local culture or in Africa. And what other instruments do you use that I'm not saying you're using it with that meaning, but I wonder, there are other instruments that also have like that power that people give to them that you
No,
use?
actually, no, actually, all of them has because the what's called the drums are made in woods, and you cannot choose any wood to make your drum. You must choose some woods for some reasons, and also the it's called cuir in English, the leather.
Leather.
Like the drum is made with woods
Wood and leather.
and leather. So you can't use uh, wood and leather for a drum that means something else to play something else. It won't fit. So you must use the wood and the leather, which fits what you want to play with that kind of thing. So if you want to play like warrior songs, can't use some kind of leathers or woods. You must use specific woods and leathers, and also specific wood for something else. You
Wow,
see?
that is like that is that is opening so many multi dimensions in my mind in regards to music. It's not just about making the music; it's about making the music with something that it works with it.
Absolutely.
So it
Absolutely.
makes it even more
Like
complex for
like
me.
the instrument is like a gateway to another dimension. So of course you can
Exactly.
play any regular instrument. You may do with what you have, what is available. But all the instruments that are used in our can are you could say sacred, whatever you want, but they're part and parcel of the this gateway to the other dimension that we want people to feel, and
Yes,
to be revealed to people.
you
So
know,
yeah, the instrument is
even if I'm
important.
listening,
Because actually sometimes when we begin to play, and even the thing is when you play with those kind of instruments, you cannot play whatever. For example, if you play like a warrior song, you must play a warrior song with that kind of instruments, and this the energy will go back, will come out. But if you use to play like whatever, nothing will happen. So you have to play what the thing is meant for.
and then we go back to the West. How do you bring this that you're saying, which is very rich when it comes to a spirituality and the connection of music with the subtle realms? How do you bring in an electric guitar?
Yes, actually we play also kind of instrument from the West, guitar, bass, and normal drum set. But this is
How do you
for
feel that?
metal
Because
spirits.
I understand like a hollow instrument that is the wood. Like for instance, I once accompanied somebody in a concert with my guitar, and it was very hard for me because I was not singing. And I realized that is an entire different capacity to play the guitar only to accompany a singer than to play the guitar and sing at the same time, which is easy for me. But to play and be silent because,
Really?
yeah, have you done that? Because I resonate with the instrument. So when I am singing and playing the
Ah,
guitar, there's a whatever whoever's listening, hating it or loving it, is beyond me. I'm
ah,
resonating with the instrument, and there's a communication with the instrument. When I was just playing
wow,
for
that's
somebody
cool.
else, I was like,
Mm,
catching myself. you know, I had to sing the song
mm,
in my head in order to do it. So, and this
ah,
is my acoustic guitar. But in the electric guitar, the Oh my goodness, I don't remember the word in English, Spanish, or French. The feedback you get from the instrument comes through the amp. So does that make you feel like a detachment from what everything else that you want to feel?
Actually, what I play with electric guitar, yes, it goes to an amp and a lesson. The thing is, it's not only to feel the instruments on my body, but also to listen because it's listening. So whatever the amp is, if the amp sounds well and is like transmits well what I play, so I feel what I play
Okay.
simply. So I don't need to feel it. Like the
Okay.
sound can come from an amp, but I feel the guitar in my hand. That we do like a whole thing. Actually, in the bands, you are not playing alone. So it must be for me.
I was
But
getting,
when I play on stage, I am the guitarist, I am the drummer, I am the bass player, I'm the percussion player, I am the whole band. So I'm not playing alone. That's the way I play on stage. You see?
actually, I wanted to go into because, and you almost answered that. Like, you're every member, and probably every member feels the same. The band,
Yes.
it's like a unit, one sentiment being transmitted out of the stage, which is
Yes, very.
how it should be.
That
So there are,
that's why
Mhm.
that's why somebody told us after a show that when we began to play, he felt only one entity on stage. The person that didn't feel like he felt like a one spear, only one spear
that's
from
even
the whole music.
Yeah, that's even the fact when you have a band that the instruments somehow the equalization of each instrument it does not match well with the rest. You can tell that even if they're all in tune and the song is going great, if there's not like that marriage of sounds, like I have to sound like you probably tested musicians that you didn't like how they sound, or they sounded good but they didn't sound good with the band. You know?
Yes, actually, before the show, we do ourselves the sound check. Uh, I used to be at the audience side before coming on stage because I want to know what the audience get from us. So I go to the sound engineer place. I plug my guitar with the sound engineer. I play together with the whole band to see if really all this I want the audience to get. The audience really get it before I go on stage to plug it on stage now, because I really want the audience to get what the band gives. So I'm really like this on the sound.
Very strict on the sound.
I'm
But
wondering
that's
because
that's also because actually for being a metal metal player in Togo and being alone doing so, you have to educate people to metal too. And that I think that powers of driving forces of Arka'n is that the novelty and the fact that it's educating people to a type of music that they relate to, because when they listen to the music they're like, oh, this is home. But then, oh, what do you, this is, you also call yourself metal, and it seems so foreign. So even in terms of sound engineering, you have wonderful sound engineers in West Africa and on the whole continent, professional, excellent people, but they're not used to the sound. So then, as a metal artist, Arkan have has had to educate sound engineers, and sometimes,
I imagine.
in spite of all the efforts, they can't do it. So that's why he has a rock. I've been seeing rock going more and more to the sound engineer kit and office, and then just doing the sound with the sound engineer, and that's part of the education. And so that's how he also gets a feel of what the audience gets. Yeah.
Tell
Yes,
me,
really.
one instance in which you went on stage and came back downstage and you didn't remember things of the concert because for you it was just like a flowing experience where you were present but you were just letting yourself go with the music. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes, almost all the time because when we are on stage,
Oh my god, I think that.
Confirmed. Confirmed.
because when we are on stage,
Get it out, you know.
we are like kind of in trance. So you play. Sometimes you play, but you don't really look at what you see. You are just inhabited by the spirit. It comes on you and just play, perform, and after that you come. But you feel all the other artists, other musicians. You feel the vibe of the audience, but you cannot really pinpoint clearly what's happening because you are in the kind of bubble, spiritual world. So it's only after that you come back to yourself and say, so you finish the performance.
That was the final score. Okay. All right.
But at the same time, if the sound is cool, everything goes right. You just feel all the vibe. But if the sound is not cool, you must. So you have to sit with it and come back and so. But even if you are in your work, you don't involve the audience. Like you bring the audience in your own world, and you are one with the audience in your world. So you are high in spiritual, you are high, but you're not alone on stage. You are with the audience on stage, and you interact with people in the audience. You can discuss somehow.
I was just remembering some experiences, and I think that is the same in Latin America, probably that you have also in the Dominican Republic, where in spite of all the efforts, you cannot get the right sound. You have to perform. The time has come. Sound check is over. The audience is there. They're calling Arka'n on stage, and they start. And I can realize that something is wrong with the sound. They can realize that something is wrong with the sound. But as they say, the show must go on. And these five warriors are so like just one on stage. They keep on playing, having the audience enjoy, perform. I mean, really dance to the music, listen to the music, hail the music. But then they have. This is something that our bands in the South have gotten used to. That is to say, perform no matter the circumstances. Sometimes it's difficult to get picky and say, oh, I'm stopping the show because the sound is not good. This is what an artist is entitled to do because the sound is important for the artist. But our bands here, and I can speak for Arka'n, like even when the sound quality is not the one that they want or they deserve, they keep on performing. That is, and this, I think this is an asset, an advantage that some of our bands have, that no matter the circumstances, we know how to meet the challenge and perform. And they're always surprised when I tell them, wow, it was a great show. And they go, what? But the sound that we were having was not good. I said, listen, the people enjoyed it because you performed. You did not go, wow, what's this? You performed.
Yeah, and sure. You encounter a lot of challenges and different standards throughout the industry, especially going from country to country in Africa.
Exactly.
And bringing a product that they're most likely not used to listening to or working with. How was the international reception of Arka'n? Arka'n.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm sorry.
Arka'n. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
I like that sound. Some people go Arka'n. Some people go Arka'n. With the French accent, you go Arka'n. It really depends. You take it as you please. As long as you feel it in your heart. Really is. That's what matters.
That makes me feel less guilty of messing up.
No, don't. Oh no, there's no. Really, no offense at all. As long as you say it, if you say it, it's because you mean it. So that's what matters.
I mean it.
Thank you. So yeah, I was saying the international reception was there was a turning point with the album that came out in February 2019, and the reception was first continental. That's what we were very happy about. Is that all the media platforms, metal platforms, Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, which are the three hotspots for sub-Saharan Africa, they really hailed the album, saying, we have never heard something like that. We have been following the band. Some tracks had been released before, but the first time we have this album with these 12 tracks, never heard of this kind of music. And then the reception went outside of Africa, and through the social media, a lot of hails up from Europe, from Eastern Europe, from Russia, from Japan, from Brazil, a huge fan base in Brazil, from the United States, from Canada. It was really, heartwarming to see people reaching out, writing articles, posting their appreciation and saying, when are you coming? When are you coming? When are you coming? And then throughout the year, thanks to the album, this enabled the band to participate in different showcases. And November 2019, this is where there was a huge music festival in Ghana called Access, organized by Music in Africa, which is an organization that is based in South Africa, but which aims at promoting African music throughout the continent and the world. And 2019 edition was held in Accra, Ghana, and this was another stepping stone for a band. So yeah, the international reception has been wonderful and still growing. And now we're with Black Amber in Dominican Republic, talking to Latin America. This is amazing. Thank you so much. This is awesome.
Thank you, guys. It's really a pleasure for me. It's really a pleasure to be able to bring this music proposal that Arka'n Asrafokor has to the platform. I love it. I love it because if anybody can get to know more of you or getting to know you because of Black Amber, I think my mission has been accomplished.
Yes, it will be.
Yes.
So let's go a little bit into the lyrics. First of all, you have like a decade-old band. You only released one album, and it has been a very solid debut. Very nice, very well received. What are your lyrics about? And if there's anything in your lyrics that is very African, that is something I'm not gonna encounter in any other, in any other band or music in the West or the North.
But actually, the band is not really 10 years old, because in 2010 was alone in the band, and I began to gather people, and we made the first lineup in 2013, 12-13. But the band split in 2015.
Okay.
And I made another band in 2016. So this is the second lineup, which is now here. So the band is also like 4 years old.
All right. The actual band is the lineup, so.
Yes, it's
so
4
it's
years
okay
old,
that you have one album.
Is band is
yeah,
10.
exactly.
There's an album, yes. So the lyrics are mostly about all kind of human universe thing, like life itself, but mostly about fights for justice.
What kind of injustices you want to address, or what?
All kind of injustice, because for me, for Arka'n, man is not here on this planet, on this earth, to suffer or to to suffer. So we must fight. We must all fight to be what we are, be human beings. So we must give all we can to first to fight not against life, but with life's elements to be with life first, and now to fight against injustice we see uh, with being done to others or on ourselves.
So you want
So
to bring
those are
hope.
the hope. Yes, hope is the main thing because a warrior doesn't go on war without hope. For the warrior, he goes on war to win, not to die for to die, but to just win. So this is what the lyrics are about. Okay.
So how do you think
But
we can
all
accomplish
this in its perspective of African spirituality side. Mm.
like the word Ubuntu, that type of thing?
Like togetherness, Ubuntu,
Yeah,
like togetherness.
yeah. So how do you
I
think?
think it's as
Hmm?
sorry.
No, I'm wondering how do you think we can accomplish a more fair world? What will it take? What do you
Actually,
propose?
for
Yeah,
me,
yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
for me, the main thing is in the head. We must not, because the thing is, human beings tend to accept injustice, tend to accept what happened and say, okay, it's happening and just there. The main thing is to tell ourselves that we should not let it be.
Exactly.
We should stand up and say no. Because we are too used to say, it's sad, it's
That's
okay,
the
but
way it
okay, it's
is.
done. Hmm. So the main thing is here. It's here in the heart. You must say no. I don't like this. I must something for to change this thing. The first thing. Now the second thing now, and to tell oneself that we have to the right to defend ourselves, because when we see what's happening in the world and when some minorities are being threatened or being like let's be killed, some of them say, "Oh, God, help us" and stuff. No, we must see that we must defend ourselves. We must go on war for our freedom, for justice. So those are things that we must say first. And also, the thing is, we are not separate from this Mother Earth. Usually, we think that we are human living on a planet like on just a piece of rock with water. And no, no, no. Earth is alive. Earth is a living being, and we come from Earth. When we saw Earth like maybe 1 billion years before, there were nothing. There just rock, just water, just but no human being, no living thing. But now we are there talking to each other. We don't come from space. We come from Earth. So it's like Earth give birth to human beings. Earth give birth to plants and everything. So we act like if we come from somewhere else, and we destroy the earth, we destroy what the earth gives us, we do whatever we want. It's like a curse on humanity. So that's why we
Yeah.
must go back on earth. We must go back to protect the mother earth first. Because what you see, what we say, that our brain, the beauty of the face, everything comes from what we eat. When you eat, what you eat comes in your blood and makes you grow. Then what you eat comes from the earth. So you need to protect, to honor that earth. You see. So those are all the things that we must consider if you want to fight for justice on this planet.
Yeah.
Especially when we have not been able to sustain life naturally anywhere else, and we've been looking. We've been
Exactly.
Yes, you see.
There's no Mars, no Mars solution. There's no, I mean, yeah, and I think that as when you listen to the lyrics or you read the lyrics of Arkan, just as you know, as Nina Simone puts it, the artist has to reflect its times, so his or her time. So this is the African contribution through metal music of African voices. There are many different African voices, but this is the voices of warriors who hold Africa very dear. And this contribution is to a global fight. And thank God, you know, we have social media that has been connecting people. So now people are listening to, hey, there's metal music in Africa. What are they saying? How come I swing to this music? How come I like this music? And what they're saying, I can relate to it. I can be somebody in Guatemala. I can be in Alaska. I can be in Osaka in Japan. I can be in Kuala Lumpur. I can be in Normandy. I can be in Italy. And, you know, just resonate to this and say, hey, the lyrics speak to me. But this is an African contribution to this global fight. And we have to be together because it's only through unity, Ubuntu, as you were saying, that we can preserve our planet, our environment, our nature, and stand up for our rights. It is a critical call. And if sometimes we may feel powerless, but we should never be hopeless. Never. Like, we should never be indifferent to what's going on. So sometimes we can be frustrated, but music can help us. And rallying through music or other forms of protest is beautiful. It empowers you. Yeah.
Can you tell me the name of a song in particular so I can look it up and pay attention?
Yes, like if you even you listen to Tears of the Dead, Tears of the Dead,
Yes.
and also Return of the Ancient Sword,
Okay.
you find a kind of spirits in it. Even Warrior Song,
Okay.
some passage who relates the warriors to the element, to whatever. Because in Africa, in the past, the warriors, not the one who holds or who holds only the weapon. All the elements of the nature becomes a weapon in the arms and in the hand of the warrior. It can be earth itself, it can be winds, it's everything. Light, darkness, animals, plants, everything can be worked with. In Arka'n songs, it's more that the earth is with us already. The earth is the God which is with us, and we are going to win. In Arka'n song, the earth is not like will be destroyed by humanity, but the earth rules. And because we are children of the earth, we rule with this earth. That's the thing. So the warrior works with all the elements of the earth, not only a weapon in the hand. But before doing that, you must be one with the whole earth, but the whole thing.
Because I haven't paid a lot of attention to the lyrics. I've been more into the titles and letting myself go with the music. And I've realized that when I've tried to understand, sometimes I wonder, are you singing in Evi?
Yes, most of time in Navy.
Ah, so I was not going crazy. I'm like,
think like 70% are in Ede, then English, and then there is one song in French.
Only one
But
song.
yeah, but
It's a
indeed,
mixing
you
of
find
Ebe
That's
and
that's
you
English.
find you find yourself.
culture has to be very proud. You're
Sorry.
the Ministry of Culture in Togo has to see this. Yeah, because you have a metal band
Should be.
making inroads outside in their homeland. You don't get that a lot.
It's really.
It's funny because you can find yourself, as you say, some people tell us like that, like they listen to the songs and they spit the lyrics out and then they realize that, hey, but this is not English. But it's just like when when we were kids and then we would listen to songs in English and then not understanding English and then saying blah, 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 blah. And then realizing years later that this is what the guy was actually saying and you feel stupid. Well, that's it. Even if you don't understand Ewe, you will find yourself singing Arka'n songs and it will sound perfect.
Wow. I'm gonna do that. But you should definitely work on a lyric video because that would be even more fun. That is
Yeah, the lyrics are on Bandcamp. On the Bandcamp site, all the tracks come with their lyrics and translation.
Oh,
So
really?
you can
I haven't seen them.
On
I haven't seen you in Bandcamp, so that's why I didn't know. So in Bandcamp, you have the lyrics and you have the translations because the
Right.
titles are misleading. The titles are in English, but they're not in English. The titles come up what the song is saying. That's a good trick. I like that trick. So you guys have been amazing. It's been really my pleasure and a treat to have you today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
for us too.
Yes, very, very, very happy and honored to be part of this big family, Black Amber. You are doing a wonderful job promoting music and connecting South to South. This is an amazing project. That's why when you reached out, we said, hey, that is another angel we've been looking for. So we're very happy.
I accept
And
that. I'm an angel. You hear me?
all the metal bands. We congratulate all of them for hanging on strong in spite of the situations.
Yes.
We've been following some of your live sessions and congrats, and we stick together, connecting. So thank you for giving us this opportunity to, represent somehow very humbly the African continent. And there are many, many other great bands on the continent. Great, great bands that thanks to Black Amber you will discover.
Thank you, Arka'n Asrafokor, for
Thank you
having
too.
me. Thank you for all your wisdom, all your works, and let's hope that we can help you further your audience to newer markets, newer countries, so they can enjoy the material you're making. And cheers to many more albums and concerts. After we've overcome the worst of the pandemic, we will see each other again.
Yes,
Together in
obviously.
concert. We're hoping for that.
We will.
Both have spoken very beautifully, and definitely that has made me feel even more admiration towards you. Arka'n Asrafokor is a band that you should definitely listen to. It's hailing from Togo with a positive message of fight for justice and hope. And we have been very pleased to have you here for the Black Amber audiences. And we're definitely will continue supporting you, supporting your brand, supporting your music, and hoping that many more audiences will reach out, will be able to receive all the wealth in music and knowledge and wisdom that Arka'n has to offer. And we'll be leaving the contact information below the platforms, the social media of the band.
Muchísimas gracias.
Ay, gracias, qué lindo en español, ¿eh? Como de maldad, como que mira. Me encanta, hablando español en África, ¿eh?
Sí. No se habla mucho español, pero bueno, yo hablo español de Venezuela.
Ah, también, o sea, español venezolano, wow. Qué bien. La verdad
This is Arka'n, building bridges. Thank you.
Exacto. Muchas gracias. Bye.
Bye.
We're currently in Ghana.
God, oh my
We're currently in Ghana. Actually, we've been locked down. I mean, the borders were closed just before we were about to go to Togo, and the borders closed.
I'm glad everybody is just sitting down and switching stuff, because if we would keep walking around, everybody would be tired for walking around.
Yes, really.
We had this case yesterday where there was like a musician multiplying over Zoom. We see you fine. You're a fine looking person.
Thank you.
You're both good. And now he's gone. Okay. Did I embarrass him?
She said that you were gorgeous looking, so you better connect quickly. Get back on, quick. We can hear you now.
Really?
Like a booming voice from.
How to activate the camera?
Okay. Let me go activate the camera.
Hey, Hawk. Oh my God, are you multiplying?
You have to let Arka'n Asrafokor in.
The second Arka'n Asrafokor.
Oh, the second Arka'n Asrafokor. It's connecting. There are going to be 10 Arka'n Asrafokors. Oh, Metal is out. Metal, come back! Come back, Metal, come back! Okay, let me see. I'm trying to log in with Arka'n Asraf, our email.
Arka'n is on. Arka'n.
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 No, what is
Hi,
this?
Arka'n. Oh, mon Dieu, je t'écoute. I really enjoy the woodwork in the room that you're in.
The woodwork?
It's nice.
This is what she sees with the camera. Yeah, you see, this is Ghanaian woodwork. It's a specialty, a local specialty, and the carpenters have been working hard.
It looks really nice.
Nice.
Hi, Rock.
Hi, I'm fine.
Email is fine. OK. Non, parce qu'en fait, on arrive au bout d'1 heure. Donc, ça va déconnecter. Donc, autant qu'on reconnaître sur une nouvelle session. Donc, elle va l'envoyer par email. OK. Et comme ça, je prends le lien directement. Ça va aller sur ça. Et de là-bas aussi, je ferai la même chose. Okay. Ça marche.
OK. You have a drink?
Not yet. Okay. I'll drink. Yes, really.
Get something, maybe.
Yes, really.
Something to snack, maybe. Something to eat.
Water.
Water.
Yes, really. I'm coming to see you.
Because I have a lot of questions.
Okay.
Hello everybody, this is Arka'n Asrafokor, and we are covering for you the song Return of the Ancient Sword from our first album, Zankeli. We have on drums Richard, on bass guitar Francis, percussions Mas, rap Enrico, and me, Rock, on the lead guitar and lead vocal. soul she feels. Now I've got a sword of the shooters, made up of lava and the blood of my forefathers. Gaia's golden veil of fear of my eyes. Now I'm in the corner, now I cannot deny. Walking with the tip of the by my side, I'm coming for you. The sounds you hear, nothing but the calling for the storm. Because God left earth, giving me the seven comes. You was a closing mirror, shining that you swatch it. I tried every soul, I went to me, watch it to my room. I tried every soul, I went to me, watch it to my room. I'm a tall big watch it so malu. I cheated me. I tried me so. I'm a tall big watch it so malu. I cheated.